Hello and welcome to the show. My name is Michael Joshua, and of course, this is the Failsafe Fitness Golf Show. I am the owner and director of Failsafe Fitness Limited. I deal with all your fitness, nutrition, and golfing performance problems. If you've been listening to the show, slightly change of format compared to last year. I'm going to talk about what I've been up to, what my clients have been up to this week, and how things are going in terms of the golf course that they work at. I'm also then going to get into where all the big boys are playing golf this week. And then we'll do three news stories that have caught my eye. And of course, we'll do a fitness tip and a golf tip for you as well. So let's crack into the show, shall we? What have I been up to this week? Well, I'm going to tell you it's been bugger all. I was on holiday in Scotland last week, and you'd think it would be a time for you to sit down and watch some of the golf that's going on, and obviously the players has been promoted, especially in recent years, as the fifth major. And I'm going to be honest, I haven't seen a single shot, not one. And it's weird because the week before they were talking about there was like waste management and a couple of other tournaments, the Bay Hill. They were down 30% and 38% in terms of viewership. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't really see a lot of those tournaments either. Um, and I don't know whether it's because I've just been a little bit more busier than I think I've been, or it's the fact I just can't be bothered with watching professional golf at the minute. Um, I think all this and piff that and live this and live that, I'm guilty. I'm bringing you those news stories as well. And reading about them, researching them, watching people moan about either side, whatever side you're on. I think it's definitely turned me away from the professional game. I don't think it's because the fields are weaker, because I certainly don't think, with the exception of a half dozen players, I won't go into that again. I don't think the PGA Tour's stance is weaker than it ever has been, like some people are suggesting. And I'm also thinking the fact that I'm just not interested. I don't care how much money people are winning. There's just nothing really interesting going on in golf. I don't know. This year, just my interest in watching professional golf has waned significantly. Normally, from the waste management onwards, I'm a Sunday evening, especially PGA Tour. I'll sit there and watch it all day, but no, not been interested. Um, I mean, I know last weekend I was out. Obviously, I played. I didn't play golf. I was going to play golf at the Dalmally in Scotland. Didn't manage to get there. Golf course was closed due to the weather. Lovely Britain, love it. Thank you very much. And then obviously the next day I was in Oban on the Sunday. So a few whiskies, a bit of a trip out, etc., etc. I don't know, just not good. Yeah. So this week for me has been highly relaxing. It's still a little stressful. I mean, obviously working for myself as an independent. I'm not associated with the PGA. I'm not associated with anybody. I run from a golf club as an independent greenkeeper and coach. Um, I've got back into training this week. In fact, today my wife has joined me in the gym. So I'm going to do the next sort of 4, 6, 8 weeks, try and burn. So I need to get down. I need to get down to under 100 kilo, to be honest. Come back off holiday, a few too many beers, too much good food. Actually found I put 3 kilo on in 10 days, that's insane. Um, so yeah, I've got a lot of work to do for the rest of the year, not just the next 3 months. But I've had clients contact me about getting their grips changed, doing some other bits and bobs for them. I had a discussion with a client about numbers on a launch monitor, which I may or may not get into a little bit later on. Um, Yeah, it's been fun. It's been a nice relaxing week, but the hard work for me now is, especially in the UK, and I sympathise with every greenkeeper and every golf club out there at the minute that are open and they probably shouldn't be open. We are one of the clubs that just doesn't open. We were closed. Himley was closed on the 15th of October, and it hasn't seen a golf ball struck on it since in terms of the golf course. Driving range was open till that weekend, and then yeah. So that's November, December, January, February. It's now March. It's 5 months um, since we've had a golfer on the golf course, and it we're probably looking at close to six. I'm going to say, at an educated guess, unless the rain just disappears, it's going to be another 4 to 6 weeks. So we're looking mid-April, probably the 1st of May, before my golf club is open. And being an independent trader, and obviously I'm a personal trainer and I've got other things going on, but I tend to my client base now after winter, post winter, their 3 months is up at the end of this month. So, me earning a business and earning a living is I base that on I'm going to be playing golf, and if I'm going to have to extend my personal training, I may not be golfing as much. So yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting year. It was similar last year. Last year we didn't open until about mid-May, which is rough. Um, I don't think any of us can afford that, and I sympathise with every golf club out there that's trying to do what they're doing. And yeah, fair play to you. This weather's not been kind for the last 2 years. It's been the wettest like 18 months on record since records began. So yeah, it's been not been good. Um, but yeah, that's me. I've not been doing a lot. Hitting the gym. I've got a lot of work to do. I've got a lot of things to do. I still haven't picked a golf club up. I'm hoping Friday I might get 9 or 18 holes in somewhere, but we shall see. It's going to be a rough start to this 2024 campaign in terms of golf, but I want my fitness level to come first, and then we shall see. So let's get into what's going on with the website. So if you go to Failsafe Fitness, failsafefitness.weebly.com, obviously that is the blogging site. On the blog, you will see there is a wonderful picture of a sexy man with a six pack. That definitely isn't me, by the way. But it's got best full body resistance band workout plan. It's simple, it's easy, it's something you can do while you're away. So if you're going on a golfing trip with the lads and you still want to get a workout in, or you want to start without any weights, you don't want to do anything heavy, you just want to start somewhere. This is a perfect workout. You got bent over rows, banded chest press, resistance bands, shoulder press, and shoulder raises. It's a great little workout. 4 sets, 20 reps, 40 seconds rest. You're probably looking somewhere around, you could probably even do it as an EMOM if you really wanted to. So in under 20 minutes, you've got a little workout in. You're gaining a little bit of muscle, gaining a little bit of strength, and you're just burning some extra calories for the day. It's a great thing. Go take a look at it. Well worth investing your time in if you want to get fitter for your golf or in general life. Let's look at where everybody is this week then, shall we? So PGA Tour, obviously we're going to Valspar, another decent tournament, $8.4 million on the line. The ladies, both the Ladies European Tour and LPGA Tour are still on a hiatus. They've got another week before they go do anything anywhere. I don't know why. It's weird. It's very strange, the LPGA and LET Tour. I know they have less tournaments than the men, but you'd think they'd just lay off over the winter a little bit longer, instead of taking a couple of weeks break in the middle of March. But hey, they're earning more money than DP World Tour, which, by the way, are at the Porsche Singapore tournament, Singapore Classic. So the Porsche Singapore Classic, $2.5 million up for grabs over there in Singapore. It's the Asian swing of the DP Tour, so they've gone from the hot of Dubai. It's now getting warmer in Asia, so they might still get some rain in Asia. and then before they come back to Europe, I think it's like the beginning of May. Liv, obviously, yeah, they've not got a tournament this week because they're not professional golfers. There are 13 invitational events. It means they have like a 4 month layoff at the end of 3 month layoff at the end of the season, 3 month layoff at the end of the year, and they play their golf in the summer. So how the guys who are qualified for the Masters coming up fairly soon, how they're warming up, good luck to them. So yeah, that's where all the golfs are happening. Some of the major golf is happening this weekend, starting on Thursday, of course. Podcast coming out on Wednesday. So let's take a look at the news for the week. Now, John Ram and Tyrrell Hatton caught my eye. The Ryder Cup futures are in doubt. Well, they're definitely in doubt because we all know that Live Golf, Greg Norman announced that they're officially giving up on the OWGR. They've already received suspensions from the DP World Tour. They starred in Europe's victory in Rome 6 months ago, but jeopardised their chances of competing in New York next year by when they joined Live. A sporting arbitration panel upheld the DP World Tour sanctions for its members, who compete in conflicting Live tournaments without securing a release. Fines imposed by the European circuit won't damage the duo's Ryder Cup chances, but the suspensions could stop Ram and Hatton qualifying or being selected as wild cards in Luke Donald's team. If you don't know, Luke Donald is obviously, he took over from our other Live defector, Henrik Stenson, who he defected to Live, got fired from the role, had less than 12 months or about 13 months maybe to gel a team together, did it really well, and we won. Much thanks to the two guys we're talking about. So, yeah, interesting. But unlike stalwarts of Garcia and Poulter, who both declared their intention to retain their DP World Tour memberships after accepting Live overtures, Ram and Hatton need to play a minimum of 4 events on the former domain in 2024 or they will lose their card. How they do that when they're suspended, I don't know. But they've been handed out. Sorry, I tell a lie. The Telegraph has given them have been given the information that they've been given a 1 tournament suspension each for the 4 Live events they have completed this season. So that's 4 events they can't go to. If nothing changes, it will then become increasingly difficult for Hatton and Ram to retain their cards and become eligible for the Ryder Cup in 2025. With their places on the team uncertain after Ram's seismic move to Live, Rory McIlroy said they need to change the rules. The matter will be a focus for the Ryder Cup director Guy Kinnings, who will replace the outgoing Keith Pelly as the chief executive of the European Tour Group on April the 2nd, with the Ryder Cup taking place in Bethpage Black, New York, Long Island, from the 26th to the 28th of September in 2025. Now, this is an interesting little snippet. So obviously Pelly is quitting, he's gone, he's going back to Canada to run the Maple Leafs brand sports ventures. Obviously, Toronto Maple Leafs are an ice hockey team. They've got other investments too, and he's going to manage or help manage those and leaving the European Tour. Now, and I'll say this once and once only, is that if the European Tour, now DP World Tour, want to create a profile for themselves to have a sustainable model, every year on year, the top 10 players from the DP World Tour are given cards for the PGA Tour. So how do you, I said this last week, how do you promote a tour where the top 10 best players can bugger off somewhere else? So if I was Guy Kinnings, I would be sat down with all the investors in the DP World Tour. Obviously, again, they're a Dubai company that have a big say. Big Dubai companies have a big say, and the start of the European Tour starts out in Dubai. I would go and have a conversation with PIF, and I would literally go, right, PGA Tour, we've got your dealings with us. We're going to honor all those deals. That's not a problem. But we are going to go and do a deal with Live. Independently, I would say the top 25 players on Live can come and play a minimum 10 events on the DP World Tour. And they've got to, if they're on Live, they're contracted to do a minimum 10 events, not including the majors, because I know the majors are included on the DP World Tour now, as well as they are on the PGA Tour. Where I'd say a minimum 10 events on the DP World Tour every year, which means you guarantee Ram, Hatton, Dustin Johnson, Brooks Koepka, those guys, world-class golfers, Bryson DeChambeau, they will get their world ranking points. They will get to be played. They will up the value of the DP World Tour brand. And I don't think I need to say much else to that, do I? That's what I would do. If I was the managing director and had the opportunity to go and have my say about the DP World Tour, we want to raise the profile. You're contracted for 5 years on the DP World Tour. You've got to play 50 events over the next 5 years. Injuries relenting, but obviously injuries are injuries. We can't do anything about that. But the top 25 guys from the Live Tour can go and play. But that doesn't include the majors. So they're going to have to play about 30 tournaments a year. Take it or leave it. If they want the world ranking points and want to be able to qualify for the Ryder Cup, then bring it on. That adds value. At the minute, I don't see Live. For me, Live doesn't add any value to the Ryder Cup. It doesn't add any value to golf. All they've done is take value away from golf, because the big events such as Valspar, Waste Management, the Players, Genesis Open, the Open, US Open, PGA, all those guys that left for Live can't play in those events anymore unless they've got exemptions. When their exemptions are slowly being whittled down. So by giving them the opportunity to play on the DP World Tour, they're going to give back to the DP World Tour, because sponsors will want to see those players in those events. And with those world-class players picking up world ranking points, you're giving them the opportunity to qualify for Ryder Cups. You're giving sponsors the events to have a big-name player that was on the PGA Tour now contracted permanently for the DP World Tour. And I don't think there's a better opportunity than this. If that's the kind of deal that needs to be made to see these guys playing Ryder Cups, then this is the kind of deal that I'm happy to see. And I think something has to be done with the DP World Tour. Its profile needs to be raised, and I think this is a perfect opportunity to help them raise it. The second thing that caught my eye was Jimmy Walker. Now, Jimmy Walker has said he's had enough. Following 2 years of infighting and miscommunication, the PGA Tour veteran was disillusioned, not with the game itself. He still loves competing, and he's desperate to make a return to form to keep his card, but with those in the sports corridors of power. The 2016 US PGA champion had no interest whatsoever in what Commissioner Jay Monahan had to say about the future of the game. In his recent address at the Players' Championship that I spoke about last week, which was kind of a statement of nothings. Well, we're going to do this. We can't really discuss it. There's ongoing talks. It was all the crap we'd heard before. He said he doesn't pay any attention to what Jay says anymore. They've kept us in the dark for far too long, and it's all been handled very poorly. I don't have any faith in the tour anymore, and I really don't think we've got the best or the brightest working on it. Walker still holds some resentment of how he lost his full PGA touring card for 2024. Six-time winner used one of the top 50 career earnings exemptions last year after enough accomplished players jumped ship to live to pave his way into 124th on the FedEx Cup standings for the regular season. And obviously, if you don't know this or you do know this, the top 125 get to keep their tour cards. But obviously, the PGA Tour has now gone where the top 70 are more important than anybody else on the tour, which it sucks. They get less opportunities with these 70, this eight. I think there's 8 signature events where the 70 players no cut, lots of money, lots of FedEx points. Yeah, not fair. However, the introduction of the new fall schedule meant that only the top 70 retained their status from the FedEx Cup. The adjustment saw Walker having to finished 7-event series in 138th. So he finished 124th before the FedEx Cup finals, and then obviously he played in the events after that, in the wraparound season they call it, and finished 138th and lost his tour card. You finish 124th, and historically that's always been good enough, but they changed the rules and it cost him his card. It's such a poor job of communication to the fan base and to the players. He said it was only halfway through the year that it wasn't a lock, and you'd have to be in the top 70 to keep your card. And he felt it was unbelievable, and he was really pissed off about it. Um, we need this. We need a season, and we need to shut down. We need to starve our audience. He said there's too much golf being played, and having 8 wraparound events is just hurting golf. People don't know when the season starts because he thought he was good, had a bit of a break, came back, and then found himself outside the top 125 and couldn't fight his way back in 3 events out of that 8. Some would say it's his fault. But again, it's miscommunication, and I talked about this last week with, Jay Monahan isn't giving the players any information or guided information. They're just doing things and announcing it. Don't seem to be consulting the players a lot. And the players that are higher than 70th, I'll probably say if you're outside the top 80, you know absolutely nothing what's going on the PGA Tour. You're just turning up and hoping that you're getting a spot that week. If you're inside the top 50, hey, you don't really care. You're getting into the signature events. You're earning a lot of money. Life's good, I suppose. So Monahan doesn't communicate well with what's underneath him in terms of the players. And obviously the people above him didn't really trust him to have the talks with the PIF and announced they might strike a deal with the PIF to help the PGA Tour grow. So Monahan is the thorn in both sides. So he just needs to go. The rumors are that Tiger, who's on the board, may be taking over for Monahan, and he'll just retire. He may play maybe 6 times a year. But yeah, he's burnt his 1-year full PGA Tour exemption, but the 45-year-old is still seeking a late career renaissance on the circuit after recovering from a chest injury. He will return at the Texas Children's Houston Open later on this month. So yeah, it just seems to me that the whole PGA Tour and players and live. I mean, Rory's changed his mind. I think Rory spoke to a few of the players. I think Ram and Hatton have really kind of opened his eyes a little bit into what goes on with live. But things like this. I mean, what do you think out there, people? Do you think the wraparound season is good? Is the golf market saturated with events? Because Some events now you have a main event that you see on TV, and there's another secondary event going on. So if you're not getting into that one, you're getting into this one. So there's, you're not playing just, there's not 50 events this year or 40 odd. You're looking at over 100 events, or close to 100 events being held by the PGA Tour at some level. So should professional golf be leagued off? Should the Live Tour be a feeder series for the undercard of the PGA Tour, and then the PGA Tour, should that series then feed into the top 100? So should there be a PGA Tour where there's 125 players or 140 players at each event? The top 100 get in, 25 from here, 25 from there. That's 150 players done. Obviously, exemptions and previous winners, etc., all get whatever. A part of the 25 kind of invites, if you like. Top 10 from the undercard event the week before get into the next week's PGA event. Would that be a thing you'd like to see? Let me know what you think in the comments. How can we fix, and should there be a bigger break? I mean, I always thought, I think the PGA Tour season should kind of end. I was always thinking PGA Tour season should end around first or second week of November, and then should then resume second week of January. So they've got 8 weeks off. Everybody has 8 weeks off. The whole entire golfing world has 8 weeks away from the sport. We can watch some amateurs battle it out, etc., etc., etc. Whatever, whatever, whatever. What do you think? Let me know. Third and final thing that's caught my eye. I say caught my eye, I see it every year. So if you're a golfer in the UK, we have Prostate Cancer UK. So Prostate Cancer UK, every year they do a big golf race. So in 2024, that is obviously going to be happening again. It's calling on golfers across the UK to grab their clubs, round up some playing partners, and take on the big golf race, the UK's biggest golf fundraising challenge to help save men's lives. Since the big golf race was launched in 2020, more than 11,500 golfers have raised over £3.4 million to help fund life-saving research to radically improve the way prostate cancer is diagnosed and treated. Golfers willing to take on the big golf race have three fundraising options. The marathon, consisting of playing 72 holes, that's, yes, you heard that right, that's 4 full rounds of golf a day, walking on average of the equivalent of a marathon, 26 miles. Depending on your golf course, it may change. You may not even walk, but if you want to do it, play 72 holes a day. That is the marathon version. There's the half marathon. So that's 36 holes in a day, and the formidable ultra marathon, which is 100 holes in one day. So if you want to take on, I will put the link in the description below. You can get your pack. You can sign up. Golfers who raise over £250 are in with a chance of winning a full bag of Titleist golf clubs worth £3,000. There are also other prizes like motor caddy, electric trolleys, and bag are also up for grabs. To be part of this great charity to help up and down the country, help people with prostate cancer, give it a go. Put it on your golfing calendar, and then sometime around sort of June or July, probably end of July, beginning of August, set it up with your golf club. Get yourself some priority, whether it be you do the 100 holes, the 72 holes, or the 36 holes. Go and help this wonderful charity raise some money to help people around the country. Thank you very much. That is the news for this week. So I was going to give you a little bit of a fitness advice tip this evening, this week. But obviously, I've already given you a little band workout you can do anywhere. So we're going to call that your fitness tip for this week. Your golf tip for this week is I've had so many clients already in 2024 ask me what they should be concentrating on. And I think this is a trap a lot of us golfers get into. Well, you play with your golfing partners, you want to get a little bit better, you get down to sort of, eight, so that 18 to 25 handicap, and then you kind of get stuck. Or you may get down to where I'm at, which is like 10, 11 handicap, and just get stuck. And setting targets. So targets like, oh, I could do with getting some distance off the tee, or just getting some distance in general. I could do with chipping better around greens. I could do with putting better. Making less three putts would be good. My approach play from blah 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 is not great, whether that be inside 50 to 100 yards, or 100 to 130 yards, or 130 to 170. My approach play is not great. I need, whether it's improving your par three scores. So you look at it, and your golf course might only have two par threes. One could be like a fiddly 95, 100 yard, and the other one could be a close to a 200-yard par three. So they're very different ends of the scale, and they're very difficult to get up and down. And or you're looking to. For me this year, my average for last year in terms of score was 83.1. So I averaged 83.1, which is 11 over par, which means my handicap is 11. It's better. It was 14. It's 3 shots better than the year before. It was 18 or nearly 19 the year before that. Brought it down 5 shots. So law of averages, I should be single figures at least by the end of the year. It all depends on how much work I put in. But setting targets for yourself is great. But sometimes people are looking at the wrong targets. So take myself, for instance. My chipping and putting is okay. I maybe have one or two many 3 putts. So 3 putts is something I'm definitely going to be working on this year. So a longer putts, sort of 15 feet and above, 15 to 20, 15 to 30 feet. I want to be 3 putting those less. But I can see that because I have a shot scope, I can see that in my stats. So I can see that from 15 to 30 feet, I've 3 putt on average. I think it's one in 6 last year, which is bad from 30 feet. I was actually better with a wedge in my hand and being off the green than I was being on the green and being 30 feet away, believe it or not. So that's a target that I want to set myself. I want to be able to. So there'll be a lot of long putting for me, just trying to, lag putt, get those putts closer, and 3 putt, especially inside 20 feet. I don't really, 10 to 20 feet, I don't want any 3 putts at all this year. I want to try and completely stomp those out. Gaining some distance, obviously that is going to take some work. So that's going to be buying something like a swing speed stick, or even doing some extra exercise, whether it be with bands or kettlebells, whatever it may be, which again is something I can offer. It's something I do offer to all my clients who come to me and say, I need to gain some distance. I take a look at their swing and see if there's anything in their swing that we can do. And then obviously the main thing is then being consistent with 6, 8, 10 weeks of either swing speed stick over speed training. I tend to do about 4 weeks of over speed training, and if there's a jump, then the over speed training alone can give you quite a significant boost in 8 full weeks. But if there's no significant boost after 4 weeks and they've been consistent, and if it hasn't jumped at all, then they probably haven't been doing it. So offering my service and services of fitness training and kettlebell training alongside the speed stick advice, they're not going to do it. So setting your targets. If you have a shot scope, if you have recorded data, if you do anything like that, the My Round Pro from TaylorMade is free and very useful. Your first 6, 8, 10 rounds, I'll probably say your first 6 rounds of golf, 8 rounds of golf, already this year, or if you're starting your season next week, that first month, if you can get yourself on the course 6 times in that month at least, take a notepad with you, just note down the bad shots that you hit, and then go back to the week on week. Is there a specific hole or a specific shot that you struggle with? And then set those as targets. So then when you go to your golf coach, whoever it may be, your PGA pro, your golf performance coach, such as me, you can go into them and say, look, okay, so fourth hole's par four, it's a dog leg left. I've got this little slicey, so I tend to end up under the trees. I can't hit a draw, or I can't hit it low enough to get out of those trees. I'm always snagging the trees. So it's something that you and your coach can work on. You can work on being able to hit a draw off the tee. You can work on, a low punchy shot to get you to the green or get you closer to the green than you have been. These things can make a massive difference to a coach, not just the player. If the player knows that, okay, I've repeated this 2 or 3 times in 2 or 3 rounds, three putting, two chipping, there's a specific hole that's costing you strokes. Your coach can then go, okay, well, we're going to do this. So if you do this, this is what you need to do. And it will help us as coaches and PGA coaches. They will, along with myself as a performance coach, will look at that data and go, okay, so you're weak from, my weakness was really 140 to 170 yards last year or the year before in 2022. I was really, those long approaches were terrible, but I've got Mizuno hybrids in the bag, and I've got a 5-iron now that goes about 180. They are traditionally lofted, so don't judge me. So that proportion from 160 to 200 yards, I was much closer to the green, or if not on the green, which was giving me more opportunities to get up and down for par. So having that data, your targets need to be set by data. If you don't have that data, if you go to any golf coach anyway and say, well, I'm hitting it well off the tee, I hit it whatever 200 yards. I don't ever three putt. I don't ever two chip, but I'm still shooting over 100. Okay, so that means that either you're hitting a 3-wood and topping it off the deck, you're hitting a long iron and you can't hit a long iron very well. But if you hit 7-iron instead of 3-wood 3-iron, you're going to be closer to the green. These things need to be recorded. You need to have some data to work off of. And like I say, for me again this year, it's going to gain a little bit more distance off the tee. I actually lost a bit of distance this year. 2020, I was about 200 yards. 2021, I went to 215. 2022, I went all the way up to average of 247 yards, and I actually averaged 238 yards. I was 10 yards shorter this year than I was the year before, which is interesting. But I did have a better fairway percentage, and I was better approaching into greens because I was on the fairway. So distance isn't everything, but knowing that you've got better approaches from longer distances always going to give you a better option. So setting targets needs to be done. So you go and play your next round, your next 4 rounds of golf, take a notepad with you, write it on the back of the scorecard, wherever it may be. You will start to notice a pattern. There'll be either a hole, a shot type, whether it be a chip over a bunker, three putting, whatever it may be. You will notice a pattern of something that you do in your game that you think, shit, I need to fix that. And if you fix that, or you find a solution to that issue, then you are going to be better at playing golf. And that's my advice for this week is, when you're setting your targets, have a realistic target in mind. I mean, if you break 100 every now and again, turn around saying I'm going to break 80 this year, 20 shots is a massive amount. I always told my clients, and I always told myself, I wanted to break 100, then I wanted to break 95, then I wanted to break 90. I think 5 shots is a consistent amount. And for me personally this year, if I average around the 80 mark, it means that my handicap is going to be somewhere in and around 7 by the end of the year. But my average round score needs to be around 80 point something. So I need to lose 3 shots off my game, which means I need that's a shot every 2 holes. So I need to basically par every other hole, and that's a big ask. So yeah, setting targets is difficult. Having some data to work off. So if you've got a shot scope or My Round Pro, that data can all be logged into the apps. You can take a look at it. It'll tell you what you're bad at compared to your handicaps, what you're good at compared to other handicaps. So your short game might be amazing, but you lose too many shots, too many balls off the tee. So improving that is going to improve your scores. So if you lose 3 balls off the tee every 18 holes, that's 3 shots you can get back by eliminating those tee balls. And potentially those 3 shots off the tee are followed by another 3 bad shots or whatever. So you're potentially losing 6 shots in those holes. You can get those 6 shots back. So you go from shooting high 90s to low 90s or instantly. And then with a little improvement here and there, you could be breaking 90 on the reg. And it just makes sense. Having that data available is essential for you to be a better golfer. The people who can't be bothered with that, they don't want to look at their data. They just use the watch for this. They use the watch for that. Fine. But don't moan about your 25 handicap when you potentially could be playing off 12 and 13, a full 10, 12 shots better, just because you can't be bothered to take note of what you're doing. Don't come complaining to your golf coaches or your buddies about how your game could be good, because this equipment, this technology that we have available now is going to make it easier for you to understand it, for golf coaches to understand it, to extract from it the fact that, you're decent off the tee, you're good round the greens, you can putt okay, but your bunker play is awful, and your approach play from 120 to 150, you haven't hit a green in 2 weeks. Do you see where I'm coming from? So when you're setting your targets for this year, make them realistic. Don't say, I haven't broken 100 yet, but I'm going to break 80 this year. That's probably not going to happen. So breaking 100 will be first, then break 95, break 90, and just incrementally make yourself better. Because if you set a massive goal and don't get there, you just get more and more demoralized. Then come the end of the year, when you've got your handicap down 2 or 3 points from 26 to 20, and you think I should be playing off at least a shot a hole, and then you creep back up because you put yourself under pressure. Yeah, that's not good. So let me know what you think. Do you think that Monahan should still have his job? Do you think that my suggestion for the DP World Tour to make an alliance with Liv Um, I say behind the PGA Tour's back, but the PGA Tour for me doesn't give a rat's ass about the DP World Tour. So if the DP World Tour went to live and said, your top 25 guys can all come and play on the DP World Tour, they could got to play minimum of 10 events every year, which means they've got to play 24 events plus majors maybe. So they've still got to play 30 events a year, which if you wanted to work 30 weeks a year for the kind of money they're on, I think you'd take it, considering the benefits they would get for being on the DP World Tour and the benefit to the DP World Tour would get for having some of those big name players turn up at their events. So let me know what you think about that. Fitness, I've given you one of the easiest and best workouts you can do with a resistance band. Those resistance bands are in the middle aisle of most Lidls and Aldis. They range from between 5 and 10 quid. It could be the best thing you've ever done. It will help build some strength and muscle and some mobility. And of course, if you are looking for some coaching, whether that be fitness, mobility, uh, strength and conditioning, massage, kinesiology, golf performance, I am your man. Get in touch, get in contact. £20 a session. That's per hour, so £20 per hour. We can get you sorted, we can get you fit, we can get you playing better golf, we can get you feeling better in your own skin. It just takes a little bit of hard work, and I know that because I'm doing that hard work right now. And of course, if you want to get better at your golf as well, having some targets to aim towards, lowering your handicap, getting better at putting, whatever it may be, but please don't just, you know, you don't three putt a lot, but you want your putting to be better. Probably not going to happen. There's something else going on in your game. Having that data there will help you choose the targets for the next 4 weeks. Everybody go out, check your watches, check your equipment, check your lasers, check your apps, whatever you're using, write it down. You will see a pattern in your game as to what holes or what shots really you struggle with. Those are the ones you can work on. And once you've got that, you can go to a coach and go, I need to work on this, and we can fix it for you. Not a problem. Enjoy your week, everybody. Thank you for listening. Please like, subscribe, and share. Go visit the blog site. The Square app is also available as well. Failsafe Fitness Limited is the Square app. If you do want to book, it will give you all the links to being able to book with me. Have a great week. Hope you enjoy your golf. Hope you enjoy your fitness. And we'll see you all again next week. Bye-bye.